The name of my project is Logistics Flow. My role is communication and transportation. My problem, transport and mobility. And my tool is logistics and production. My project will take place on Mexico City, that is located in North America, in Mexico, in a basin known as the Valley of Mexico, built on the dry bed of the Lake of Texcoco. The city has a population of 18 million people. Mexico City has 27 neighboring municipalities and is the second largest metropolitan area in the world. It has a world population rank of number 2, and since in this project I'm talking about transportation in the city, the transportation in Mexico is really extensive. You can choose between metro lines or uh, buses, trolleybus, and metrobus. Recently, it has been expanded with a fourth line. Other transportations, like highways, Mexico City has 5 main national highways that connects Mexico City to the rest of the nation. It has bus and railroad services with more than 24,000 passenger bus lines arriving in the federal district each year. And airports, the most international visitors to Mexico City can arrive at Benito Juárez International Airport, located at the eastern border of Mexico City. And the airport is used by nearly 18 million travelers each year, and it counts with 2 terminals. Mexico City forms one of the largest urban concentrations in the world, with a population almost of 20 million people, and with a vehicle population over 3 million, which gives the city a big problem with transportation and mobility. Recent reports, such as the ones made by Goldman Sachs and the navigations app called Waze, classifies Mexico in one of the worst cities in the world for commuters. The quantity of cars in the city stresses and paralyzes the traffic in Mexico, and this causes bigger scale problems, like once shown by a study made in 2012 that suggested that the traffic in the city costs the local nation economy about $2.5 billion annually. Last year, Mexico's capital was ranked as one of the most congested cities in the world by traffic data analysis TomTom. And the result of this mobility crisis is lower life quality, productivity losses, and high levels of pollution. So the problem here is that Mexico City's traffic system is overflowed or stressed by the quantity of cars and people moving through it. People aren't getting where they need to be at the time they need to be, causing bigger problems in the country. As a fact, the number of annual births in the city is around 160,000 babies per year, while the number of new vehicles added to the city ranges between 200 and 300,000 vehicles. So, according to INEGI, there are more cars added to the city than babies born. This is just a proof of how big is the problem and how this just adds up to the congestion and creates larger scale problems for economy and life quality. For this project, the tool I selected for solving the problem is logistics and production. Starting off with logistics. By investigating in this sector, you can position industries to better facilitate the flow of goods through the world's largest consumer markets. But in this case, I'm not abording logistics from an industrial perspective. Instead, I'm using it to create a better flow of people and not products. You could say that in this project we are using the Military meaning of logistics: the science of planning and carrying out the movement and maintenance of the forces. Forces in this case meaning people. Here also comes in part the production as a tool for solving the problem. What I mean is to start production of different efficient ways of transportation for better flow in the city. Production of transport such as bikes that are already in service, and to take pressure off of the existing ones and guarantee less congestion in the city. So creation of different transport for taking out the congestion of people in the already existing transports. This problem does not only exist in Mexico. In fact, many European countries have the same trouble. European planners and researchers in both public and private sectors are working on creating new concepts that should make it easier to move around our cities in decades ahead. Sadly, much of this innovation rests on the internet or smart apps, such as driverless buses or traffic lights programmed to keep trucks from obstructing the overall flow of the city. Electric power will also be a major factor as bicycles, motorbikes, cars or buses are becoming green. The real solution of this problem of congestion in the cities is not the construction of new infrastructures as many people could think. The solution of this congestion is asking ourselves how can we adapt the existing spatial planning and infrastructure to meet society's changing needs. The focus is shifting from new construction to urban reconstruction. This concept is applied in the Netherlands and it seems to work. Now for the variables. The independent variables are the creation of a logistic plan, the production of alternative transportation, the investigation and creation of new alternative in mobility, the creation of a new system for better mobility using tools from production. And the dependent variables are the application/respect of the planning, the usage/acceptance of the people, the improvement of quality of life, and the decongestion of the existing stress in transportation. Knowing all this, now I can establish my hypothesis. My hypothesis is if an adequate logistic is applied in Mexico City's transportation, then quality of life would increase. Explaining this hypothesis is simple. I want to use logistics as a planning to the city's mobility and transportation for better flow in the already existing infrastructure. What I mean is, we could make a new logistics plan or system based on several new rules to ensure the effective flow of people in the city. By this method, I strongly believe that the city could be de-stressed in terms of mobility. And of course, improve life quality. The methodology for achieving this project is the following. First, identify and analyze current transportation problem in Mexico City. Research information on how important it is for Mexican commuters the transport and mobility. Then, investigate about logistics and production, which is the tool. Collect information of current transport and mobility in the city. Design correct logistics for improving mobility. Adapt city according to new planning. This is the reconstruction or repurposing the current infrastructure. Then produce/improve alternative transportations and apply. Then promote new system and educate people to follow the new system. For analyzing the data, I created this diagram, which is the efficient transportation with both our tools, logistics and production. with the logistics is implementing a new mobility system of effective functioning for the city using logistics. This way eliminating the congestion and ensuring the correct development of the city, and reconstruct the infrastructure adapting to new necessities for better functioning. And on the side of production is creating and implementing new ways of transportation, such as bike systems that are already implemented, or as the new Mexicable, for people to take different routes and avoid congestion. All of this is used for correct functioning of the new implemented of the city. But here is where our role comes in. Our role is communication. So the education for people to understand, to follow the new system and guarantee success, because if people don't stick to the system, the problem will never be solved. So we are using communication to educate people into the new system, if applied, to guarantee the success, because without the cooperation of people, and nothing can be achieved. After the investigation and the analysis of the data gathered, the conclusion is the following. Mexico has a real problem in terms of transport and mobility. The excessive amount of people and cars clog the city, causing damage in bigger scales. The current situation of the transport and mobility services in Mexico is terrible. And as I said before, the solution does not come in the creation of high-cost infrastructure, but in the creation of a good logistics in mobility, adaptation of already existing infrastructure, and production of alternative ways of transportation. This is the real solution and solving of the clogs in the city. And as I said before, by solving these congestions, the city will improve the flow of people, taking them where they need to be at the time they need to be at. Eliminating these hideous and unnecessary hour-long trips, economy and life quality would improve in the city, proving that the hypothesis planted at the beginning is correct. And also, as the role involves communication, as I said before, the major key of solving this problem is educating people into the new system. Because without people cooperation, no matter what, the city will be a chaos and nothing will work. So it's, in conclusion, the real solution of the problem is education of the people into a new logistics in mobility for the city to improve the flow in the city, improving the life quality and economics, etc., etc. And the hypothesis was proven.